This is so odd to be teaching right now because I'm usually in conversations on Zoom. So I'm going to try to look at this little green dot, which means I'm looking at all of you, right? Yes. Okay, I'm trying hard. And then David Tamulevich makes a face, and then I get distracted. Anyway, here I am. I'm going to talk to you about StreamYard. I run the Warming House. I also run a program called Street Show for Minneapolis Downtown Improvement District, and among other things. But those are the two avenues where I'm using StreamYard. And I researched all the platforms before I started, before I just sat down and chose one, because I use the filters of what is our goal? Is our goal to make money? Is our goal to create community? Is our goal to, what are our goals in streaming live? And one of our goals, yes, is to make some tips for the musicians. And then one of our goals was to create that community sense. And the first thing that we did was we used Zoom for a couple concerts, but that didn't feel public enough. We then decided to do a streaming concerts every single day in May at 4 o'clock. And we wanted part of it to be a little bit different than just pressing go and getting people online. We added a little interview component. So then my goal was to get something where you could do a split screen, and something that was easy for the easiest thing for the most amount of people. So I knew that I would be dealing with people, getting people online, hosting them, and they would have no experience and no tech knowledge whatsoever. And I knew I was going to be able to use the same platform, StreamYard, for people that have all the microphones and the platforms and all the stuff. So that's just a quick overview of why I chose StreamYard. And StreamYard, what StreamYard does is it uses StreamYard.com to broadcast out to multiple platforms. So I will share my screen with you. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen with you with the login page to get started, because it's a little bit weird. And I'm just going to give you a really quick overview and of some basics of what it's about, and then take lots and lots of questions. How about that? Okay. Sharing this screen. This is our first screen. This dude pops up every time. And he reminds me of a friend of mine. It's kind of weird. Anyway, and then I have to go to login. Let me move you guys around here. I have to go to login here. Actually, sorry, let me back up a step. Get started. That's how you're going to create your account. Easy, like you create any accounts. And then I'm going to log in, and then I'm going to use my email address to log in. info@thewarminghouse.net. Not sure why that needed to be a minor melody, but so it says 6-digit code. So instead of a password, it has a 6-digit code. You could probably see a little thing that just sent me an email. So I'm going to go back in and share a different screen, I believe. Not that. That here. Am I sharing that screen now? I hope so. So, so I am in my system.
Sorry, Brianna. No, we're still seeing the original welcome back screen.
Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm not used to sharing screens. So let me, stop share. Now you see my face. Thank you, Annie. And now I'm sharing this with you. Okay, so now you see we have one show scheduled coming up at the Warming House. This is the Warming House back end of StreamYard. Now, when you're first setting up your account, you want to go to destinations. here's my destinations page over here on the left. And right here, add a destination. And you can add as many destinations as you want. However, the package that we bought is, I think it's like 12 or 20, no, I'm sorry, it's like $20 or $25 a month, which allows us to stream to 2 locations at one time. You can buy a higher level, which allows you to share with more locations at the same time. The reason why we chose StreamYard over Restream is, and Restream is the same type of service, is because we could get more for our money with the lowest paid level. So we could share to 2 locations and add our own branding if we wanted to. So I'll show you a little bit about that too. So you add your where you want it to go. So in our destinations, we added our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. We could add more and then decide later, you know, what 2 places do we want it to go. But we only want it to go to 2 places, so that's fine. So I'm going back to my broadcasts here. Upcoming broadcasts are listed here. Past broadcasts are all archived. However, it only saves shows for 7 days. You can download the show later, but it only sticks around for 7 days. Good to know. Okay, so let's go upcoming broadcasts and see how easy this is. So easy. Okay, I could create a broadcast, decide where to go with it. Let's say I'm gonna put it to YouTube. I'm gonna title it something, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Whatever, description, all the things, and then I click create broadcast, schedule for later. That's what we usually do, schedule for later, create broadcast. Great, I can make it go to 2 destinations, great. Okay, that's setting it up. That's how easy that is. And then the nitty gritty of it all. I am gonna enter the broadcast studio of this Songs and Conversations with Red Dirt Girl and John Lewis and someone else. So I entered the broadcast studio and here's my display name. Now you gotta make sure you put in the display name that you want right away, because I haven't figured out how to change that yet. Maybe you can, but you want it to say what is going to appear on screen. I'm entering broadcast studio for reals. I'm still not live yet. I am backstage. This is lovely, right? I'm gonna mute my screen. Yeah. Okay. This is so cool. This is so easy. If you are a solo person and you want to go live to 2 different locations, you see how I'm pointing at my screen like you can see me pointing. See how I'm in that corner over there? There we go. I click that. There I am. I am in the viewing portal. And then other people can hang out backstage, right? I'll show you that in just a second. So now that I'm in here, I could click go live and it will go live. As easy as that. Now the sound quality of this and the video quality of this is not going to be perfect. I've had success when people use different technologies, nice microphones, of course. We've had discussions on this, but it's not like there's anything fancy behind the scenes that you can do to enhance your audio quality. It is what it is. There are a few things that you can do. You can dig around once you get here, but I'm not gonna go down that road right now. So I click go live and I'm live, right? And here's some nice little, fun little things about this. I'm trying to move the view here. Okay, so banners, branding, I like this branding thing because if you can see up here in the little corner, I meant to redo this because you can barely see it. It's just like, you know, kind of fades into the corner. But if you can see up in the top right-hand corner, there's the Warming House logo. I can change that to the StreamYard logo. Not sure why I would want to do that. That duck looks kind of weird to me. Or kind of Affleck-y, you know, right? You can also do this where it creates a frame, an overlay, and all of that. You know, if we created that in Canva, and it was a free program that's really easy to use. Won't go down that road either, but if you want to know how to make images that'll work in this space, I can help you with that later. And then, so I liked that option. If you go with the free option, it will brand with the Affleck StreamYard duck, not Affleck, by the way. But I like the option of having it branded, just because I really do like having a visual. Okay, I think I'm just trusting that I'm going at an okay pace. We will get to questions. And all I can see on my screen is Annie, David, and Catherine, who is knitting. Yay! I'm a knitter too. Okay, so this screen here, and if you're having trouble seeing the whole screen, you can actually move your little view of who you can see around, because what I'm looking at my screen, the StreamYard screen at the very, very bottom, where it says mute, stop camera, cam mic, share screen, invite, leave studio. Here is a cool thing you can do. I can invite people. I can invite people from here, and I can invite them from my dashboard. I am freaked out that I'm on the screen 3 times, so I'm gonna get rid of myself. There, just for this part. So I'm gonna press invite, and there, ta-da, I get an invite code that is a link. I am going to copy that to my clipboard. In just 1 minute, I am going to, you're just gonna have to look at me typing in the screen. Hold on. I am going to send this link to myself real quick because I want to show you how to invite someone into the situation. La, 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 la. Okay, so right now, so while I'm doing this, I should say this is how we got 31 people on screen with us to do a interviews and shows. I wrote them each an email at the very beginning of the month, and I said, you know, just an advance email, and said, you know, here's what your show is going to look like. Here's what we expect from you, and you use this link to log in when it comes time for your show. Please log in 15 minutes in advance so that you can see what it's like. I only had maybe, well, that was the Warming House, and then we also have I also had the street show going on, and the street show had a few extra people kind of freak out about how to use StreamYard, but really and then I logged in 20 minutes in advance for them, and it was fine. So I am now, you can't see this, but what I just did is I set myself, well, I'm getting myself confused. Set myself a link to log on to StreamYard as if I am my own guest. One moment, please.
I'm going to interrupt just for a quick second.
Because soon you'll be able to see two of me, Brianna Lane, number 2. Okay. So, can you see my StreamYard screen right now? No, you can't. Hold on, I'll stop and share again. My apologies. Here we are. You see Brianna Lane 2 and Brianna Lane, correct? Yes? Okay. I'm kind of delayed right now on the StreamYard because I think I'm confusing StreamYard a little bit, but that's okay. So right now, you see the two of me on the StreamYard screen, correct, Annie? Can you confirm that? Okay, cool. And then I have all these options here of how to put two of me in there. Let's just take a moment of how weird the delay is.
That's really
awesome. So now I'd be interviewing my guest. I would be the host, and I would, you know, we sat around for 20 minutes and I would interview them. For the Downtown Improvement District street shows, what I would do is just introduce the shows, thank my sponsors, and then I would leave the screen and let them do their show. I'm gonna put me up in real time here on the StreamYard. So I am still, you can still see me backstage, right? So with the street show, what we did at the very end of the show is I popped up again and I said, thank you so much, Brianna Lane. It's been so nice to have you here today. Audience, thanks for tuning in. Please make sure to tune in on Wednesday, blah, 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 with whoever we're hosting. Have a nice day, bye-bye. Right? Easy, so easy. The other feature of this is that you can see all the comments. If you look to the right, I'm gonna get rid of me and the big screen again. If you go to the right, you can see all the comments coming in from YouTube, and you can see them coming in from Facebook if those are your two destinations, and it'll have the little YouTube icon on or the Facebook icon. So if you are the artist in StreamYard, you can say, hey, I see that Carrie on YouTube is asking me la 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 la. You know, some people like to interact with their questions, some performers, and some performers find it very distracting. So what we did, oh, I should say this. To be a host, you need to host from a laptop or a desktop. To be a guest, you can stream from whatever you want to stream from. So if you're streaming from a phone, you might not be able to see all the comments very well. You have to, you know, we see this happening. A big finger coming at you to change the settings if you're on the phone. But you can still see them. You just have to kind of switch it around a little bit. But it's really nice. And then when you post from here, and I posted as a host, I posted the links to the virtual tip jar, which was always a PayPal me link and a Venmo address. And I just put that in the comments and they go to both places automatically. Another cool feature is that if you hover over a comment and click on it, a comment that is already passed, it will show up kind of in the bottom quarter of your screen for however long you want, and then it could go away. So sometimes we've shared that, you know, tip thing there and then go away. I know that there was a festival in town. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a second here. There was a festival in town that was a fundraiser for a musician who's going through cancer treatment. And I think, you know, 30 to 50 artists got together and did short segments, and there was a host and there was a tech person that the tech person, you know, invited people in and made sure everybody was cool. And then she was responsible for putting the host on the screen who introduced the next person. And then the next person would pop up and then the host would go away. And it was just a great way to filter like so many artists through at one time. We're also using this for Songwriters in the Round on Monday nights now. And so you can put up to 3 people on the screen. You can also share your screen. So one artist that we had shared like a visual thing in one of his screens, just like weird, twisty, psychedelic things while he was playing, which was really cool. It added another layer to his performance. And then in the round, we just kept the 3 people up all the time so we can, you know, just like a stage, so we can see reactions to people. There is still that latency issue of you can't sing along or else it would be weird, because there's that delay. I don't think anyone has fixed that issue quite yet. Yeah, I think that's the full rundown of how we're using it, why we're using it, and how it works. And I did that in under a half hour. So let's hear questions. Got plenty of time for questions.
I'm gonna jump in right. Oh, look at all these questions. But
I can't hear anything because I turned me down. Annie, will you say that again?
Oh, goody. I wondered why that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Yes, there are some hands up, so that's good. And before we get to your questions, I just wanted, you mentioned about the Songwriter in the Round. Would it be possible for you to just do a quick, is there another box that you check, or you just keep inviting more people? Like
you can have up to 10 people. I believe it's 10. It's been a while since I've asked that question, but 10 people in the backstage area, but only 3 on screen at a time.
Okay.
And this is like, I know that there are services out there that you can have more people on one screen at a time, but this is just such an easy thing. Yeah. It's just easy to invite people and have them click a link and be in there.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Okay, well, our first question is from Pop Wagner. So Pop, I'm going to unmute you and you can go ahead with your question, sir.
Okay, did I hear you say there was a free version?
Yeah, the free version only allows you to stream to one destination.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing, if I may, is you said that there is trouble with the audio quality and you can't really fix that with this software, or you can?
There is no way in this software to do any EQ, I'm not sure if there's any plugins available. I don't even know the right tech words for that. However, if you have an audio input or a nice microphone of sorts, it's gonna work just fine. Let me share my screen one more time. Because there's an important, just one little button that you can press that if you are using a fancy mic, you're gonna wanna use it. 1 second.
While you're doing that, can I just follow up on the free version? You can still do multiple, like split screens and everything, but it can just go to one place, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Split screens, yes. One destination, which would be, you know, Facebook or whatever. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen with you again, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to Cam Mic here at the bottom. And this is, you know, my camera settings, my audio settings, green screen. It does have green screen, although when I tried it, and we're gonna go into weird things like that in a few weeks, when I tried green screen, it got a little glitchy for me. So I'm going to ask someone who knows green screen to help me out with that if I ever want to use that. So I go to audio and I walk my guests through this. So if you go to audio and then it says default built-in mic, speaker default. So if I had an external microphone, it should show up in this list. And then I would disable audio processing. And that is what you want to do if you're using a, Blue Yeti, if you're lucky enough to get one, or a Shure MV88. Dropping little microphone names here. Okay.
We need to get some like kickbacks.
Yeah, right?
All right.
Okay, more questions.
Yes, hang on. Every time I go back from share screen to not share screen, I lose the people. Thanks, Pop. I'm going to mute you again. David Tamulevich, my friend, I'm unmuting you, sir. I'm trying to unmute you. There you go.
Okay, so I may have missed this, but I find the advantage of Zoom. Do you get to see everybody like this in in StreamYard?
No, and it's kind of a bummer because you also don't get to see who's logged on. Like if you are Facebook living, and you get to see like this person's watching, this, and their name just kind of pops up and floats on by. And with StreamYard, that doesn't happen. We don't know you're there unless you announce yourself in the comments, which was part of our introduction. Like, please tell us where you're, who you are and where you're tuning in from so we can tell who's here. And that is why I like Zoom a lot, is because you can see everyone. And we do our community events on Zoom. So when we're doing like music business night or we do a rough draft songwriters night where everybody shares, it's like a song, song share and critique session, but that's, yeah.
Yeah. I found the concerts I've done have been for communities of, Columbus, Ohio, or Ithaca, New York. A lot of community there, and it's so nice to have, the chats go on afterwards for nearly an hour, and I have to kick people out.
Yeah.
But in the regular concert, if it's not a community, I can see where this works.
Yeah, and we wanted to add that little interview part and have it be archived. And I suppose Zoom archives too. We'll talk. Annie just put in the chat that next week Tech Talk is on Zoom. And I do. It was a hard decision for us to not Zoom everything too, but we're glad we made the StreamYard decision because of all the extra little things.
Cool. All right, next in line, Mark Smith. Oops, you're unmuted. Go ahead, buddy. Sorry. Let's try again. There you go.
Yeah, it's in the chat to Brianna.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was this about the Canva or to Brianna specifically?
Oh, can you list all the platforms? Is that your question? I think that's his question.
Okay.
I did do a quick article on like how to choose your platforms. I can add that link in the chats too. I feel like it's mostly up to date, although I still didn't review a couple things, and then I said I would, and then the world blew up. So part 2 will be coming at some point. I do feel like things are coming back to life a little bit. I'm in Minneapolis, by the way. If anybody wants to talk to me about what's going on here, feel free to reach out on a different at a different time. But life seems to be coming back to normal. The platforms that are live streaming and really, really quickly going down a list of what they feel like and why to choose them. Facebook can feel like it's a little bit like busking, but it is reaching a lot of people, but people might tune in for just a half a song. YouTube is a little off the beaten track, but it's wonderful, and you don't have to deal with the din of Facebook. Instagram, you can go live on there, but it's hard to interact in the comments, and you can only stream live for an hour or 40 minutes, I don't know, something like that. And there's Periscope, which I haven't gotten to yet. There's OBS, which is tech heavy, but worth it if you are solo artists that are going to be doing that a lot. And there is Restream and StreamYard are the two restreaming services. That's really quick. And that's a really quick rundown of how you can go live really easily.
Cool.
Oh, Twitch. Twitch is the other one. Twitch uses OBS. We will do a talk on OBS in 2 weeks. Annie just put that in the things. And Twitch is very focused on gamers right now. However, there is a big push to make Twitch more accessible and wonderful for musicians.
Okay, cool. All right, Mark, I just saw your other question come in, but we'll come back around to you if you don't mind. So Catherine Rondeau, my friend.
Our knitting friend.
Among other things, you know.
Of course.
Gotta stay busy. I have 2 quick questions. The first one, it looked like when you were in the dashboard there, what I would call it, that there were 2 things. One where it had like 2 heads and a white block of space, and then one that just had a white block of space. So my assumption was in that white block of space, you could say, show's about to start, you know, like something like that. And then you could have the head and like, look to the right here and see these cool things. Am I right in my assumption that it's like that?
It's a share screen. So if it's a show is about to start, you would have to create a graphic that said that outside of StreamYard. But so yeah, that's the share screen option.
And then my other quick question, and I have more, but I'll be quick, is do you ahead of time let StreamYard know what your handle is on Facebook, YouTube, etc.? Like, how does it do that?
So when you create the event and you create it for a future date, because you can go in and you can just go live right away without creating an event, you know, like without, I suppose you do have to create an event, but it can be for now. But if you create an event in the future, it will post on Facebook for you, and it will post on YouTube for you. Again, I do a graphic in Canva and add that graphic to it. And like,
but how does it know your YouTube channel to go?
That's the first part I saw. I kind of went over really quickly. Is you have to add destinations.
Oh,
first.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And then there's a quirk with Facebook is that when you create the event, Facebook doesn't allow you to put anything up on there that is more than 7 days out. So right now we don't have things on Facebook, because then actually I could probably go back in and publish it, but we published everything to YouTube first, and then you can go back and edit and say publish to Facebook, but you have to add the graphic again and do that, and there it is. And that's it. Easy as that.
Cool. Catherine, did you have more?
Yes, but I don't want to glom on anybody else. Maybe one other one. Brianna, for your purposes, are you hooked in on your computer to Ethernet right now?
I am not right now because I don't have a cord long enough. Because
you froze up quick a little bit, like maybe 2 times. And one of the things we're doing is my husband just bought like a 90-foot flipping
exactly
Ethernet, you know, thingy, because his computer's at like 3,000 speed and mine's like at 22.
Right.
So okay. Thank you.
I just upgraded, but I haven't gotten the long cord yet. That's my next step before the fancy microphone.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thanks. And, you know, I mean, I wouldn't feel bad about asking questions. Chances are you're asking what other people might. So it's all good info. Thank you. All right, Jewel Yolvin.
What resolution and frame rate are you streaming to StreamYard on? And do they downsample if you do high res for YouTube? Do they downsample?
I have no idea. I am not that techie. I really just don't know that answer.
So I
I'm
guess
so sorry.
they must take what you give them and. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I just plug in and go. Literally, I don't have the. I was gonna do OBS, and I might eventually, but it is really intimidating to me because of all that, like, bits and
Yeah, you've got so many bells and whistles and moving.
that, like, I just want something that is.
When you open up the what you can stream to and they show you like 50 and then you say you want to see more.
Yeah, it's
The whole list is like hundreds.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. I do know that we started having trouble about mid-month of May with when we left a musician on their own to go live, the sound quality would change on Facebook. I think that's a Facebook settings issue that changed mid-month. I was hearing that from other musicians too, that like they changed something. But I don't keep up with that because I don't know.
Well, Facebook is the lower resolution, so they may have run into some problems downsampling.
Right. Yeah, and they switched their they used to automatically stream everything at high resolution, and then it got so crowded that they automatically switched it to the low resolution.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like the simplicity. That's, you know, it really, especially when you're dealing with a bunch of people that aren't live streaming every day.
Exactly. Thanks.
Thanks, Jewel. Okay, next up, Gary Rue. You should be unmuted and ready to talk, sir, but we cannot hear you. No.
Gary, you could put your question in the comments, right?
Yeah.
Annie and I will see it if you'd like.
No, I'm sorry, buddy. We can't hear you. Can you type it in the chat window? Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, Barb, you next.
Okay, let's see if I can formulate this question because it's changed as I've listened to all of this, but so we are live streaming for the ARC through Facebook. We have worked with StreamYard a couple of times with artists. We are giving artists access to our Facebook page to stream directly. So the ones that have come to us to use StreamYard, they're using their own StreamYard account. And we're giving them access to our page so that they can choose our page as the place to stream. But as we're thinking about how, as a venue, thus far we haven't done any split screen intros and things like that, which is obviously a great possibility. But if we have artists that are coming in and they have their own StreamYard set up and they like how they do it and they're coming to us, does it matter whether we say, okay, we have our StreamYard account, we want to invite you into our stream and use that, versus the artist wanting to be the one in control of all that? So that was my one question. And the other thing had to do with the microphone piece and who has the control over that when you're inviting a guest in. I mean, we're inviting the guest, we want them to have the microphone, they're the one performing. Right. So what things, I mean, are we dealing with that on our end as the owner of the StreamYard, or is the guest coming in using it be able to do stuff with the settings? So those are my two things.
Yeah, okay. So your first question, I would say it doesn't matter who's in control. We try to streamline as much as possible because there's only two of us, like me full-time and one other half-time person. who sometimes, you know, we try to streamline stuff as much as possible. So we said we need to be in control. And we need to, and that it was just a really easy way. I sat down one day and did all the advances, and just like copied and pasted those links to the back, and so there was no negotiation there. So that was really, that was important to us because of the communication piece of it. But I don't think it would matter if they want to use their StreamYard or you want to use your StreamYard. I think you still have control. The artist still has control over their sound quality. You can log in a little in advance, or for some people that were worried about that sound quality part of it, we logged in well in advance or planned a sound check 2 days in advance to kind of figure out that that sound piece of it with our StreamYard, and yeah, so
you can do all that sound check piece in the back end without having to be publishing live or anything.
Exactly. Like I was literally in the show that is happening in 2 weeks, when I was showing you guys the backstage area. So you can do it at any time. You can do a sound check on somebody else's link in whatever. So it's really easy. Does that answer your question? I hope so.
It's very helpful.
Okay, good. What was I gonna say too? Make sure at the end of your broadcast, I forgot to say this, to click end broadcast, because and make sure that you get that confirmation up. One mistake I made is I pressed end broadcast, but it just ended for my guest and not me. And so at the very end, you see me going like this and texting the guest. And then I walked away and you just saw the background for like an hour. Oops. So make sure you get that confirmation. We went in and edited it in YouTube. We can't edit it in Facebook, but it was okay. But learning experience.
That could have been way worse, honey. So.
Yeah.
All right, Ron Lewis. You should be able to unmute yourself now, friend.
Can you hear me?
I can. We can.
Okay. Here's my question. My fun thing to do with folk music is I DJ with Sue Kessel on WNUR in Evanston, Illinois. But I also am a CPA, and I have some clients that may want to use StreamYard to do some things in the entertainment industry. And my question is about monetizing. I know a lot of the folk musicians all do the PayPal Venmo model where you're just hoping on tips and things like that. I'm wondering if Brianna or any others have experimented with some form of payment in advance, like YouTube private links, and if that works at all in order to better monetize possibly broadcast.
Yeah, we're hopefully gonna do kind of a part 2 to monetizing your live streams, and we did do a part 1 that was very much tapped into the socialist model of asking for money, and that just like whatever you can donate would be good. If you can't, that's cool too, which is lovely, and people are making that happen with success. I've been watching what the trends are, and I am seeing very few people put up paywalls, but you can. And StreamYard, just trying to bring it, back to our current topic of StreamYard, is that StreamYard isn't really a way to, you could put up a paywall for that and say, get the link if you donate any amount or $5 or whatever. But maybe you want to use Zoom for that reason. However, it's just not the trend right now, especially with so many people who have lost jobs and whatnot. Folks are just saying donations, donations, donations. But it's certainly possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark, I see your hand up. Is this the question that's in the chat to me
Yes.
about Da Vinci? Something called Da Vinci? Or am I missing something?
Yeah, I had sent it to Brianna. Did you see the
Okay, maybe that.
It goes both to me and Annie.
share?
A lot of stuff happening here. So,
No,
So-
I see something that said also had a Da Vinci question. Is that what you're talking about, Mark?
Yeah, it's loading up something you've made in Da Vinci.
I don't know Da Vinci, but I assume that it is something that is like a pre-recorded something that you could put up into the screen.
Yes.
I don't know if there is like an audio share option on StreamYard. I don't think that there is, like there is on Zoom, but I have not explored that option. I would imagine that Zoom is better for that. Also, we're going to be talking about Zoom next week. Not we being me and Annie, but someone else. Who is our guest, Annie?
His name is Brandon O'Sullivan. He's from Massachusetts. He's Don White's guru.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine that he'll be talking about how to broadcast Zoom to Facebook. It's apparently really easy. And you can definitely share pre-recorded things on Zoom. I don't know about StreamYard.
Cool. All right. Catherine put in another question that says, when inviting people, at what point do you, and just heads up, we're in the 5-minute mark right now. So when inviting people, at what point do you indicate whether the person is a co-host / artist versus an attendee? And I'm not there are no, are they attendees in StreamYard?
In StreamYard, they aren't attendees. They are, and they are not co-hosts, they're guests. So literally there's one host, and there can be multiple guests. So the guests do not have, and before we went live with this, I sat with my intern, a board member, and John Lewis and myself, and we just experimented for a half hour or 45 minutes as a guest and as a host, and like, what do I see if I'm an artist versus as a guest versus a host? I wanted to know what my guests are seeing so that I could talk them through it, and it's a very similar thing to what the host is seeing, but the host has the ability to put people in that big screen, that big go live screen, whereas the guests do not. So there can only be one host, one guest, one host, multiple guests, and the attendees or the viewers are the people on Facebook or YouTube that we can't see pop up until they announce themselves in the comments.
Cool. This is great, you guys. Well, first of all, I have to say that we have reached very close to the end of this hour, and I have a question myself. My question is, I am a moderator or an admin on multiple Facebook groups and a couple of different pages, and I saw there were lots of options. So I'm assuming that I could add all of those in to my account and then select whichever one at some point.
Exactly.
Like yes. Channels, YouTubes and stuff. Okay.
Yes, you have to be aware of what they look like, because you might get them mixed up with each other. Like if you're using the same logo for 4 different pages or something, they'll look the same. So you have to be aware of where you're going with it. But yes, you can load in as many destinations as you want and then choose them as you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
This has been incredibly wonderful and helpful. And I would like, let's just, if you all know how to make your gallery view, let's do a gallery view and do that, like, you know, invisible applause for our pal, Brianna Lane. She is also one of our committee members on Virtual Connections and a huge part of making a lot of this stuff happen behind the scenes. So we're so grateful to you for your time today. This was incredible. Thank you all. And I'm so sorry to Stuart, who is just now joining us.
Oh no, the time zone thing probably.
Yeah, I might have the time zone thing. That's definitely an issue. Every Tuesday, we are going to be doing at 2 o'clock Eastern time. We are recording these. They will be posted on our website, so you can come back and watch them again if you missed stuff or if you missed part of it. If you had a question that you didn't think of, Brianna, do you want to put your...
Yeah, also I'm gonna put my email into the oops, not everyone in the waiting room. I'm gonna put my email in the chat. And folks can email me if I get a lot of requests for, you know, one-on-one StreamYard tutorials. Then I will probably put together another tutorial or something on my own time. But I'm happy to just jump online and have you experiment. Things should stay calm here in Minneapolis for a while. And so hopefully we'll have time to connect more online. There is it's my email address, briannalanemusic@gmail.com. If you don't hear from me, follow up because life is crazy. But I do really love talking about this stuff, teaching about this stuff, and just empowering others to use these little pieces of technology. And so thank you all for tuning in. What do we got going on next is this Friday, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Gosh, hello. Speaking of Don White, actually tonight we are having our first folk DJ peer group session. So if there are any DJs among you, Ron, I hope you will join that session tonight. Hopefully Sue told you about that. Email me offline if you didn't get that information. And then on Friday, Don White is doing his Surviving and Thriving workshop. Basically, he's going to talk a lot about how he's been connecting with venues and how he's been kind of working primarily in Zoom to build his audience. And he's doing some really cool stuff. So that's totally worth attending. All of you is on farmvirtualconnections.org. I'm typing that in the thing again. And
we'll put the choosing your platform articles I wrote on there too, and then I'll get a part 2 out someday and keep connected with y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Brianna. And we're going to send out a survey, so please make sure you fill that out. You'll see that next couple days. And this is going to feel really abrupt, so we apologize. Once again, gallery view for y'all. It was great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great afternoon. See you next time. Bye.